Hi, welcome to Jazz avec moi, the podcast where we'll talk about everything from life, career, and entrepreneurship from a TCK perspective. My name is Mutoni, and I will be your host. Hello, beautiful people. So this week I'm speaking with Sophina Kio-Lawson. I actually first found Sophina on Instagram, where she is Sophie on Tech, and she talks about all things cybersecurity. First, I started following her because she actually gives tips on how to protect yourself as an individual. And then I later figured out that she was also the co-founder of SheSecures.org. Secure is an organization that encourages young African women to get into cybersecurity and equips them with tools and mentorship to do so. And so I just really wanted to speak with her to find out about how she got into cybersecurity and what drove her to start She Secures with her friends. And so tune in. I hope you like it. She is a beautiful soul. Well, thank you so much, Sophina, for being here with me today. I'm really excited to chat with you today.
Thanks, Michaela. Thank you for having me. And looking forward to chatting with you as well.
Yeah, so I like to start by asking people to introduce themselves. So can you tell us a little bit about who Sophina is, what drives you, what motivates you?
Okay, so my name is Sophina. I'm Sophina Kio-Lawson, and what do I do? Okay, currently I'm a student, so I'm a master's student of information security at Royal Holloway, University of London. And prior to that, I've been in the tech and information security space, where I've had to work as a security analyst and as a security auditor as well. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, co-running an initiative I co-founded with my friend. It's called SheSecures.org, or She Secures Initiative. And so what She Secures, what it's focused on, it's more or less focused on empowering young African women who are interested in tech or interested in cybersecurity, getting them that they need to become the professionals that they want to be or they are interested in. So we provide them the resources, we connect them with industry professionals, we provide a platform. So we have an online platform where we interact with everyone, try to answer questions, and go on to organize online and offline meetups at this site. We have a bootcamp coming up this year, which we've done in the past, where we have hosted about 20 plus women and introduced them to cybersecurity and the things they needed to do if it was something that they were considering, if it was a career they were considering, what they needed to know, and afterwards providing them internship opportunities as well. And yeah, I think that's just an overview about me. So what drives me, I'd say just trying to do my bit here on earth and trying to make as much impact as I can make, no matter how little it may be, but just trying to create a space maybe where I didn't have that opportunity before, but trying to make sure that somebody else has that same opportunity or has the opportunity that was limited for me, and being the voice where I can be. So if it's in tech or if it's in cybersecurity, but just providing my voice wherever I can, sharing the resources wherever I can, and helping somebody else get to where they want to be, no matter how little or how tiny it may look, but any impact at all is an impact. So it's just my own bit to do what I can and leave the rest for someone else to do.
Yeah, for sure. I can relate to that. Yeah, even if you help one person, right? That's one person that wouldn't have necessarily maybe had the same path had you not helped them along the way and made it easier for them,
Yeah.
So what about you? How did you get into security in the first place?
How did I get into security? Well, I wasn't sure I was going to go into security initially, but I knew I wanted to do something in tech related because, okay, let's say when I was choosing a degree on my undergrad, I definitely knew I didn't want to do anything related to art. Not to bash people who are doing business or doing marketing or any of those things, but
yeah,
my family, there were too many of those people doing the course already. There were law, there was marketing, there was business, there was education. Like, okay, no, I'm just going to have to totally different paths, no matter how hard it's going to be.
yeah,
I'm just going to have to forge my own path and choose something different. So I started looking up about IT and computing and saying, okay, this looks interesting.
yeah.
So I started like going for taking like some computer courses and seeing how the computer worked, how they were using Word, and that was my first time of using like a computer. I'm like, oh god! So I'm like going to choose a computer degree, and like I have no idea how even the computer is working. But I mean, okay, so let's just get started. So I think I did like a really short summer training on like using the computers and everything, and it looked very like interesting, and I was fancy and all. Okay, so let's see where this takes us. So it came from me to choose my degree, and I was like, oh, I'm going to do computer engineering. So
Yeah.
I decided that okay, so this is going to be a 4 years course. I did it in Ghana. All Nations Kwame Nkrumah University is like an affiliated to Kwame Nkrumah University.
Yeah.
And then it was like, okay, this is way more interesting than it looks. And at the same time, well, every time I would come back home to Nigeria for the holidays and even when I was in school, I would hear like scenarios or cases of where like organizations have been hacked or they've missed, people had made away with wire transfers and they couldn't trace it, or some very weird, bizarre news. I'm like, okay, so what are the people who are protecting the organizations, and why can't they like find out where these whole transfers are going, or who is robbing the bank, or who is actually attacking their infrastructures and things like that. So I wasn't really hearing stories of people who were behind the organizations protecting them or keeping them safe.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, so probably I might have to find myself doing security when I leave this whole 4-year degree program. And so I said, okay, so security it is then. I finished and I came out from school, and so I was like, okay, I want to do security, but what do I need to do? Where do I go from here? It's not like I'm just going to dump myself into an organization and tell them, oh, I want to do security. What skills do I need to like equip me for that particular industry I want to work in?
Yeah.
I wasn't really getting that. I wasn't sure what it even entailed or what I needed to do. I was going on Google and checking, but like you have just like very little information compared to what you have now. It was really like there was nothing so much you could see. So I was like, okay, and I think a year passed or so while I was still trying to like figure out what was going to happen between the time I finished school and the time for me to like get into the workforce. And then I stumbled, or I had to go for my service year. We have this compulsory 1-year service that you have to serve your nation, and you go to a community or you do something, or you go to and work at an organization for a period of time. So after concluding that, or towards the time that was going to end, I started looking out for jobs that had anything related to security, either digital security or cybersecurity. And that was where I found like my first like introduction, or the first thing I got to know about digital security or cybersecurity. It was an organization called Co-Creation Hub, and they were recruiting for. Actually, they weren't even recruiting for anything related to cybersecurity. They were looking for something related to data scientists and how you could help them with their data and data analysis and helping them filter. They were working on a project and they needed something related to data scientists and data analysis. And then I was like, okay, I don't know this, but I'm kind of interested. But during the interview, I started talking about a little bit of how I was interested in cybersecurity and information security. And well, they now said, okay, so you might not be a good fit for data analyst role, data analyst intern, but we have something we're working on, which we think you'd be a good fit, which is they're working on creating the digital security guide, which was supposed to be for like a larger audience, the journalists and human rights activists and NGOs. So, and they needed like people who had like experience or who had interest in digital and cybersecurity, or who had at least read about it or had done some sort of self-development prior to it. And that was how I was giving a shot into my first security role, and like with like trying to like understand what the project was, to researching, to doing a lot of self-development, understanding some tools that were being used and all that. I started to like just get to know more about the job and get to like become more interested in like, okay, this might actually be the path I want to take from now on, because it wasn't anything boring or anything, or it was just like, oh, you're trying to protect somebody. How do you ensure that somebody's phone isn't being sniffed or there is no spyware on it? How do you ensure that the journalist who wants to like send an anonymous tip to a newspaper house or to a print or a media house, how do you ensure that the channel using to send the information is not being sniffed by the government, or there is no surveillance on their phones or their, so it was like a lot of things at the same time, but it was like a very good learning opportunity for me, because wouldn't have had the opportunity if I didn't speak up, or if I didn't talk about my interest, or how I wanted to learn, or how I was willing to like forgo everything to like put myself in the job and learn at that point. So that was the first shot I had at cybersecurity. And then onwards, after I had to work at the information security firm. So this was more hands-on. So it was lots of like working with telecommunication sector, working with like the financial institutions, providing like penetration testing services, testing for like flaws in web applications, or testing for just ensuring that their security was like really robust and really quite efficient.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that was like, I've just like been moving from there on to what else did I do afterwards? So doing a lot of like risk assessments and auditing here and there. So most of the time you might realize that you might not learn so much on the job, but you have to like back it up with like self-development, right? Like trying to learn so much on your own, and at the same time backing it up with the real life scenarios or real life application from the job that the job provides you with. So it was like a combination of both of them, which helped me like to progress and sort of brought me some other opportunities that I didn't think, or I wouldn't have imagined that would have come my way. So it's been like a roller coaster. It's just like go, and then you go, and then you come back, and you go, and it's fine. Just been one step higher, and then now I'm here doing this, so I can as well prepare myself for all the bigger leadership roles probably in future where it starts.
Yeah, for sure. That's amazing. So it really came from like a place of curiosity, right? Saying, I don't really think I want to do what everybody else is doing. I want to go to tech maybe. So let me teach myself how to use a computer. And then even the cybersecurity was because you were seeing all these people that were being hacked, and you were what's going on the other side, right? So you were slowly following your curiosity and wanting to understand a little bit more what was happening on that side of things.
Yep.
Another thing that I like that you said is, yes, you can learn on the job, but you also sort of have to complement it with learning on your own, or learning like personal development. So how do you learn? How do you catch up with what's going on? Especially because cybersecurity, I was going to say it's a new field. It's not a new field, but there is a lot, it changes a lot. Like there are a lot of changes very quickly. So how do you keep learning?
Yeah. Well, most of the times you really have to like be up to date with trends. Just try to like follow. I probably have like news blogs. I try to keep up to, let's say, every day, if not every day, at least twice or thrice a week. I try to go to their pages and see what's happening, and also follow industry professionals on Twitter or on LinkedIn, and see what projects they are working on, what new skills they are learning, because a lot of them are like, the good thing about the tech community, not just cybersecurity, is that everyone is willing to like share their progress or share their learning process with you. So you don't have like an excuse to say, oh, I don't know what this person is working on, or I don't know what this person's project is about, or what this person does. It's like it's out there. It's either they're sharing it on your Twitter platform or on your Instagram platform, or even on LinkedIn or on YouTube as well, or on Reddit. So it's like, or GitHub, for instance. So it's more or less just following them. So if you know their usernames or their handles, you follow them and you like keep up to date with what they're doing. If they're working on a project that you think you want to like, you can contribute to, you could always like say hi on their DMs and ask them if they would like to collaborate with you, or if they'll give you an opportunity to like work on the same project with them. And so it's more just keeping up to date with whatever is happening. News side there is for cybersecurity. We always have the hacker news. We have the cyber section of. We have the cyber section of the TechCrunch. We have Reddit NetSec. Reddit NetSec. What do you call it? The column of NetSec. We have cybersecurity on its own. So they always like try to update those platforms, or they update them constantly. So it's just more or less keeping up to date and take what works for you. You can filter whatever doesn't work for you. You don't have to take up everything that comes to your feed or to your timeline. If you know everything is meant for you, take what you need, or take what's of interest to you, or what's important to you. And you can always discard the other information so that you're not like have like an information overload, or have so many things bugging you at every single time, because it could be draining as well. So take what works for you. Look at the trends, look at blogs, look at people and see what you're doing. Take your beat and just move on.
I like that a lot. Take what works for you, because, for example, me, I'm reading a lot on telecommunications lately, like all things telecommunications. What are the trends? What is happening? What are companies doing? And it is information overload. So it's a good reminder to, just take it one piece at a time and then do what you can with it. And then you can go back and take another piece and consume it in different manners, because it can get overwhelming at times, especially with all the information that we have out here these days, you know?
Sure. Yeah, so just like filter. If you need to like take a break, even when you've gotten so much information, you can take a break, a week off or a few days off, and like come back again and continue.
And it also gives time for your brain to process it. So that you can then add on to it, but at least you've thought about it. Yeah, you've processed it. That's cool. And then you also said, when you were talking about sort of your journey and how it went, one of the questions in my mind was like, did you have people guiding you? And then you said that you were going on Google and literally just searching.
Yeah, I think Google is the best thing that's ever, aside from like technology as a whole, Google is the best thing that's ever happened to mankind, because I wouldn't imagine the world without Google or Yahoo or whatever to search, Bing or whatever.
Yeah,
that would be disastrous. Imagine not having anywhere to like look up, tell somebody, oh, I know how to do this. I like, okay, how do you look for it? You're like, no, there's no single source online for you to look at. If Google should shut down for like a day, I can imagine the impact it will have on the world. That would be crazy and disastrous.
Sad, but that's so true, huh? Like, that's so true. It would be quite impactful if the search didn't work for a day.
Yeah, but at the same time, we know that it's not just about the Google and everything. There are people who are out there who probably helped. Not like probably, they actually did help in the process. So while I was still like in my exploring phase, and I was trying to figure out, oh, is this for me and is this not for me? I was attending, I think it was during the first job. Yeah, I started attending a lot of meetups and events, like tech related events. And so I would meet like other people who were like interested as well, or who were probably just getting started in cybersecurity, or who had been there for a few years and they had like words of advice to share, or they had like, oh, yes, you could check this tool out, or this is what you should start learning with. You should go to hackthisite.com and try to see if you can break in and see how many challenges you could solve. I'm like, okay. So I was just like taking notes, and I'll go back and I'll probably like try them. And so it was like mostly a lot of the people who I met were through these events, and that was even how I co-founded the She Secures. It was during a hackathon, and there was, I think we're the only like 3 ladies or 4 ladies who were there, amongst the other guys who were competing for the hackathon as well. And that was how I met my co-founder. She was also on the team, and we had paired up because we were the only ladies, so we had already we paired up, and we solved on the challenges together. There was a particular one where like the guys couldn't solve it, and we were like the only ones who could get that particular challenge right. We're like, okay, maybe we have hope in the CTF challenge after all. So CTF is like the capture the flag, where like people who are like maybe ethical hackers or in cybersecurity, they come and perform challenges, and after them, there's like a flag, like the result of what you're supposed to get, and then you submit it. So the more flags you submit, the higher your points that you get, and then there's a cash prize at the end, or there is like a reward at the end. So it was really cool that we're the only ones who could solve that. So while we were there trying to like solve some of the challenges, that's where the whole idea for She Skills came about, and we're all complaining together, like ranting and talking about how it was very hard for us to get other women on board for the hackathon, and how we didn't find people who were like, who looked like us, who were women, who were Black, or who represented us in the cybersecurity space. It was from those discussions that we sort of like became bodies, and then went on to create the community for other women who wanted to get into tech and cybersecurity as well in Lagos or in Nigeria as a whole. And it's moved on as well. So it's not just for people who are in Nigeria, it's just like across. So yeah, people who are in Kenya, or people who are in Switzerland, Cote d'Ivoire, like different parts, but like they all within the umbrella of the African community. So I'd say like just putting myself out there and like attending events and meetups and reaching out to people, I started getting like potential. Not like I had like a solid mentor, but I had people who I could like ask for help. I'm like, oh, I'm trying to do this, but I don't understand this. Could you point me in the right direction and help me out? So it was they were quite helpful. I had like a lot of men, and I had a lot of women as well who were really supportive, and they probably got me to the level or to the place where I am right now today. So I'd say it wasn't just Google.
Yeah, for sure.
The human interaction and meeting other people and not being shy to speak up or not being held back, just being open and be honest as well. Because if you don't know what you're going through, then they probably will not be able to help you.
That's very true. And you know what? The honest point, you just reminded me earlier, you were talking about how you went to that interview for a data analyst role. And then like exactly. And then you start telling them how you want a job in cybersecurity.
Well, at least I had to trade one for the other. If I wasn't going to get this one, I should have missed the other one as well. I wouldn't have known that you were actually working on that project if I didn't say it. Because the role wasn't exactly for it. Yeah.
And I think there is a lesson in there for everybody, even myself included, because I think most people would have wanted just to have a job, you know?
Yeah.
So maybe they would have tried to fit for the data analyst, like fit their profile to the data analyst role, or try to convince themselves and the recruiter that they want a data analyst role when they know deep down that what they want is the cybersecurity role or whatever other role they want. So it's a lesson in being honest and being courageous and knowing what you want and then pursuing that, right?
Yeah, I knew my CV was tailored in a way that it could have probably gotten me. If maybe I wouldn't have known, but maybe it could have gotten me to that, because that was my CV got me to the interview stage.
Yeah, exactly.
So they must have read it and saying like, oh, okay, she looks like she could do this. Let's give her a shot.
Yeah.
But then it might have been something I might not have been passionate about, in the sense that I might have been bored, or I couldn't have lasted maybe a month or 2 months in it. So it was like trading all the eggs right there and then, like, okay, let's just go for it. I'll probably tell you about myself. So in the whole point of telling them about myself and what I was interested about and what I was passionate about, but then pitching for the job as well.
Yeah,
so
for
just
sure.
2 for 1, I guess.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So then you go from that hackathon where you're all girls together and you're sort of renting therapy with each other to She Secures. So what did you ladies do, let's say, from that hackathon to your first meetup?
So after the whole hackathon ended and we all went back to our different organizations and homes, we started like drafting out our plan, like what do we want to achieve, what problem are we facing. We listed out our problems, what each and every one of us had in common, and how could we fix it, or how could we at least try to fix it. So everybody had the whole problem of not seeing enough representation of women who were actually doing the cybersecurity. Like you said, for instance, you feel cybersecurity is new, or is just like probably getting started, and like not enough people probably know about the rules are available or know how they could even get started in it. So those were the kind of questions we were asking ourselves, and those were the kind of solutions we wanted to create to tackle. So after identifying our problems and how we could come in to fix it, we set up profiles, because no one would know if you exist or not if you don't have like any visibility at all, either online or offline.
Yeah.
So trying to get the word out there, we put up everything, accounts, started spreading the word around, got to host our first meet. Yeah, I think we got to host our first meetup first before the boot camp, and a few women showed up. Yeah, it was the first, but I think we had like a good startup for people, just few people who started knowing about it from LinkedIn or from Instagram or from Twitter.
Yeah.
And that was just like an opportunity for us to like just talk about what issues we're having, how could we get more women into the tech and cybersecurity space. What do we need to do? People who are already there, we started reaching out to them, telling them that okay, they need to start coming together as one, because we can't really see them. So if you're actually in that field, we need to see you. Like there should be a good representation of you and what you do and how successful you are, because we know they're actually successful. So there's no need to hide or anymore. Just come out there and put yourself out there. And so the community started. We started getting lots of people, like members, who were signing up, and we added them to our groups. I think right now we have over 150 members around, and we've gone on from the meetup. We were able to like organize a bootcamp session, the one I told you I was having this year.
Yeah,
we're able to like train quite a number of women, introducing them to cybersecurity and providing them with the resources that they needed. So some of them, after the completion, we gave them opportunities to an internship position. So after the whole process and everything, they've become IT security professionals, or they're in their own space. They're like taking up certain positions within the cybersecurity space as well.
Wow.
So it's been like, it's been a long journey coming, but we're still pushing for it, and we still want more women. Right now, there's just about, I think, 10% or 11% of women globally who are within cybersecurity, who are doing cybersecurity. So there's like a lot of opportunities for them to like get in. Various things you could do. You could be a security analyst. You could be a threat analyst. You could be a penetration tester. You could do bug bounty as well, like check for bugs on web applications or mobile applications, iOS, Android. Like major things you could do while you're earning money, like loads of money.
Yeah, for sure. especially nowadays, like that's a skill that so many companies need, like you said, but most people are not trained in it. So there is definitely a lot of demand for it, for that type of skill set. What was the biggest surprise when you started She Secures? Like, yeah, what were you not expecting that ended up happening?
Probably how much time you need to like invest in it for you to get so much amount of results. Like
Yeah.
there's very sometimes the time you have when you have your like imagine when you have your job from 9 to 5 and you also have to like maybe create content, or you have to think of what your next thing, maybe your next project has to be, thinking of collaboration, thinking of partnerships. There was a lot of time where we probably have expected that, oh, okay, this is going to be easy. We'll see a lot of funds. We'll get a lot of funds. I'll be able to make our project bigger and every other thing. But you find out that, oh, that's not the case.
Yeah.
Well, like most people are driven by numbers, or they're driven by traction, or they're driven by money. So if they don't see their results, or they don't see a lot of things in return, then they'll probably not be able to like fund you or collaborate with you or partner with you. So it's like, so those are like some things probably you wouldn't envision when you're like starting or when you're in it, where you just have to like, in terms of the timing one, you just have to like find a way to create time for whatever you love. I think whatever you're like passionate about, you just have to find a way to squeeze out time to make it, or you grow it. It's your child, it's your baby, so you have to create time for something that you love, I guess. And whoever wants to see you, or whoever the right people will definitely see you. The right people will definitely come. The right people will definitely collaborate or reach out or want to share with your story. Once you have a success story, the right people will definitely come and wants to partner or share in that success story as well. So it's just left for us to like just keep pushing and just keep doing what we're doing, impacting as much as we can, and trying out something. So if something doesn't work, you can try a different strategy and see if it works, and you pick it up from there.
Yeah, for sure. And it's true. There's so much competition for resources. I've learned that half of the battle is in the storytelling. And that's why people are always like, oh, numbers this, numbers that. Like you have to be able to quantify your impact, which can kind of suck for a young organization, because obviously She Secure is definitely needed. You started it, let's say, for like African women, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you. But we definitely need more exposure. But even if, like you said yourself, it's only 10% of women globally that are in cybersecurity. Actually, even just being a woman in tech, like you said earlier, right? We're such a minority. So definitely the need is there. I also think it's a question of putting it in front of the right people, like you said, but that also does take time, considering that you do have a life on the side as well. So from that challenge, I guess, so like, what are the lessons learned? How are you going to adjust going forward?
Yeah, well, I think I already mentioned some of them already. Like sometimes you like the one of having where you have to like create time for things that you love and things that you're really passionate or driven by. So definitely, even if we're given like 48 hours in a day, we would probably still say it's not enough.
Yeah.
So we just have to find a way to like balance things, look for things that have like priority, or prioritize your time or use them very well. So if you know you're going to give like, let's say 2 hours in a day to focus on your initiative or things like that, focus that 2 hours on it. Don't get distracted. You can turn off your phone, put it on airplane mode or put it on silent, whatever works for you. Just focus that 2 hours. If you have to do it before you go out in the day, or before you go to work, or before you go for your lectures or anything, just do that. And as well as, so you never have to like say, okay, because this strategy worked, so I'm not going to try another method or try another technique. So when one strategy fails, you have to like look at other people and see probably what's working for them. There's no crime in adopting or taking somebody else's like model and let's say rebranding it to make it suitable for your own audience. So you have to think about what works and what works for you, tweak the strategy a little bit, and find a way to not give up and just keep pushing. So if that strategy hasn't worked before, maybe there was something that was wrong with it. You could throw ideas with your friends or with relatives or people who are doing in the same niche as you are, or who are running maybe same community or initiative, and ask them, okay, what do you think about this? Don't be scared, I guess. Just ask them and be honest and tell them where your flaw is or where you think your flaw is, and see how best you can make that strategy work for you or work for your brand or initiative.
Yeah, for sure. What are you most proud of?
Starting this, I'm proud because starting this and saying like how much impact I even though I think it's little, but how much impact it's having on other people. It's amazing just having to see that. And when you like, it's always nice when you get to see those people and you see them like you're succeeding in that space that you've not that you put them in, but you guided them towards. Yeah. It's really like a breath of fresh air. Like just saying something really like when you see plants that you've watered for so many months like blossom and grown into this amazing, like, oh, is this you that I just watered like so many years ago or so many days ago? Yeah. And then also I think what I'm also proud of, I think just having like a great community, because for me it's like they're like family, not just people who are the members are. You have so many people who you could like talk to, or you could share issues that you might be having at work, or you're trying to fix something on your screen, or let's say you're trying to set up a firewall and you don't really know the right rules to set, and you could just send a message on the group or the people and they would respond to you like almost immediately. That's the amazing thing, because they're like, they want to see you, they don't want to see you screw up at work. Nobody wants to see you do that. Even if it's your first time at work or your first time with the role, they want to ensure that you're like, you have your whole thing set up and you're actually killing it at work, because you're representing everybody. You're representing the community. So it's a great thing to see. It's a great feeling to have. So which makes me always want to do more and like see how best I can get it to the next level for me and my other co-founders as well.
Yeah, that's amazing. It is very important to have that safe space of just like double checking. Like, hey, does this look good? Does this make sense? You always have, well, if you're lucky, have that one friend you can have like double check your work or double check your email or something that the tone is right. You know what I mean? So it's good that you ladies have that as a community that you can double check and make sure that each other is succeeding in their respective roles. That's amazing.
Yeah, we're trying.
Yeah. What's your vision for the next 5 years?
Oh my God. Bigger conferences, bigger women in cybersecurity conferences, more collaborations across Africa and even globally with global organizations. Saying She Secures on like a global scale where you're like, oh, you're from She Secure. They're like, everybody knows you. And like, they don't even need to ask, oh, what's She Secures? Because you already know what it is. And like, they've heard it or somebody has referred them to you, or probably having to have employers or organizations like source talents from She Secure, things like that. So so just like on a very big scale or a large scale, providing security services the best way we can, and at the same time recruiting best talent, having bigger conferences and boot camps that could probably accommodate 100 to 150 people, and expanding the best way we can.
Yeah, I love that. You mentioned that you already have She Secures in Kenya. How did you start that one?
Okay, no, we don't have She Secures in Kenya. We just have members. Like, so how the membership thing works, it's not like you set up. We really haven't been able to set up any She Secures there yet, because they already exist. Like, Kenya has a very large community for cybersecurity already. She Hacks Kenya, which is they're amazing. They host a lot of boot camps as well, which is similar to what we do here in Nigeria. They have two, I think there are two communities. There's She Hacks KE, and there is like I can't remember the other name, but there are like two very huge communities there for women in cybersecurity themselves. So there was like no point in really starting something else so it's just a matter of collaborating with the ones there and seeing how we work, like we could work together. I think we already have like a webinar thing we're planning on doing together as well. That I think we should do it this month. But for the members, we just have members who are in our membership group who are based in Kenya. When we have to share resources together, we share and we collaborate. And then we are open to like collaborating with the other groups who are there already. So there's no need to like reinvent the wheel when there are two very strong wheels.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I appreciate that you said that you are collaborating with them, because sometimes we do create a lot of duplication, which makes our life harder. But at least if you have found a sister organization that you have the same, I can understand if the visions are different and you're doing different things. But yeah, if the visions are similar, if doing similar thing, why not collaborate rather than compete and like divide your membership, which is probably going to be the same people anyways. The vision is the same.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the point. That's what we're like, no, there was no need to do that. So let's just be open to collaborating, except in similar, maybe in cities where we have maybe create an open one and maybe set up a new one, and that one we have to have somebody who is like willing to take on the job of actually steering the wheel, not just setting it up and then leaving it there, not doing anything.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's been it, basically.
Yeah. What advice do you have for other young women who are trying to sort of get into cybersecurity and do what you're doing?
First of all, be open-minded and always be honest and be able to speak your mind whenever you have the opportunity to. Because most people who keep their mouths shut probably never get opportunities or wouldn't. If you're not open-minded, if you're not curious to learn, or if you're all stuck up and being like, oh, I know my thing. There's no way you probably know every single thing on this earth. You always want to learn from somebody else. You'll always be somebody who is way smarter than you, or knows so many more tricks to this whole career thing in cybersecurity. And you never know. They might be being all cool and all calm while they let you do the talking and everything, but upstairs they're way smarter, maybe not way smarter, but they know whatever they are doing probably very well. So just being curious, having a curious mind, trying to know how things work. Don't be that person who is always waiting to be spoon-fed. You're waiting for them to just dish out the meal, the ready-made meal, and give to you to eat. You'd always have to learn some things on your own. You always have to go online and search for what's the new language or what's the new tool, what's this organization using currently. Maybe look at their job board as well. Try to see what they're asking for, what new skills are they looking out for in their job board, and see how you can tailor yourself or prepare yourself for it in maybe next year. And what else would I say? Network. Never give up the opportunity to network with other people, even if it's a meetup or a conference or anything. And if you have the opportunity to attend the conference versus a free meal or a dinner, let's have go for the conference. You have to choose the conference. You have to choose the meetup, because there's so many people you probably meet there who will probably be either your employer or your colleagues in the next future. You don't want to jeopardize that already from the onset. So always probably attend meetups, go to events as much as you can.
Yeah.
And have a smiley face or smile often. Just smile and being kind to somebody at the meetup might open more doors for you than you never imagined. So.
It's true. We always forget sort of the human component, huh? Being relatable and a nice person, a good person.
Yeah, just smile and be yourself, actually. Yeah.
Oh, man. Okay. Where can we find you?
Where can you find me? Space.
All over the internet.
Yeah, well, also, yeah, anywhere in LinkedIn. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can find me on Twitter, or you can find me on Instagram. So I'm anywhere or everywhere.
Sophie on Tech.
Yes, Sophie on Tech on Twitter and Instagram, and my full name, Sophina Kio-Lawson on LinkedIn.
Yes,
Yep.
and She Secures as well has its own.
That's she_secures for both Twitter and Instagram.
That's awesome. Any last words? Anything that we forgot or that you want to say?
Happy Women in History Month.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes. Yes.
Keep being awesome. So every woman out there, who is never maybe appreciated at work, or who is maybe your boss hasn't told you how awesome you are or how you're killing it at the organization. We appreciate you and we recognize all you do. For every woman in tech and every woman in cybersecurity, just keep doing your thing. Even if you don't get recognition, just keep doing what you do best. The fact that you're not being awarded or you're not being recognized doesn't mean that you're not a badass at your job. So just do your thing. Produce the best quality of work. Even if they don't recognize it, doesn't mean you have to provide or produce shitty jobs. Do your thing with all quality and going there. If you're giving a shot at something, don't fidget or say, "Oh, I can't do it." Tell yourself that you can, because that is what the male counterpart would have said. They will say, "I can do it," and then probably they'll go there and mess up, but they will still say they can't do it.
Yep, and they'll figure it out on the go.
So you figure it out when you get there, but just say, "Yes, I can." And even if you can, just say, "Maybe I don't know very well, but I think I can manage myself if I'm given the opportunity."
Yeah.
So we appreciate you guys and we love you, and just keep being awesome at what you do and keep being visible for us to see. Don't hide behind the desk.
Oh my God, that's so important. Yeah, it's very true. Yeah, for sure. Oh my God, that was such a great message. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Michaela.
Thank you for spending some time with me. I really appreciated it. And I'm sure people are going to enjoy it listening to
I hope so.
Thank you.
Thank you too.
What did you think of the conversation that you just heard? Don't hesitate to leave us comments on the Facebook group or on the website, jazzalikmar.com. As the old adage goes, sharing is caring. So if you enjoyed it, please share it with your friends, like and subscribe. Until next time, keep striving, keep thriving, and keep shining.